Yomi's rebuttal? What was that? What was he trying to deny? Why was he covering up the doctor's motives?
It seems that this case involves the inner workings of Amaterasu.
Right. The doctor was going to betray Amaterasu, and whoever he was emailing knew that. So the doctor locked himself in the lab to protect himself from that person.
Perhaps the doctor's act had something to do with that. It's the security gate. Everything's locked up.
Which means this is a complex problem. We have to choose the right door and insert the correct solution key.
This is way more hassle than before. Guess I'll leave it to you, Yuma.
As always.
The door actually opened. I knew I could let Yuma handle it.
Are you sure you aren't a phantom?
So the doctor tried to swap places with someone else to escape from Amaterasu. The notes he left behind in the lab hinted at his plan.
You mean the diagram with the sulfuric acid being poured on someone?
Yeah, he was going to swap places with a corpse, then melt it with acid. He wanted to disfigure it beyond recognition. That's how he planned to fake his own death.
At the very least, it'd buy him enough time to escape Kanai Ward. Or so he thought.
Wow! Melting a corpse with sulfuric acid? Yay! So cool and grotesque! So who was the substitute supposed to be?
Maybe the hitman. The doctor was under surveillance by Amaterasu, but he was still looking for a chance to escape. When he learned a hitman was after him, he figured his chance had arrived. The doctor was hoping to use the security system to kill the hitman and use the body as a decoy.
Now that I think about it, the doctor did seem to be waiting for the hitman to arrive.
The hitman hasn't arrived yet. When will he show up? Don't tell me this so-called first-rate hitman was captured by peacekeepers.
But the hitman never did show up. That's why the doctor had a sudden change of plans.
And that was the act he put on by asking, "Who are you?"
Perhaps that was a trap to lure you in, Yuma.
He was trying to lure Master?
He considered taking advantage of the detectives, since the hitman never showed up. So if he called for help, he would charge into the lab, not knowing anything about the security system, and thereby acquire the corpse he needed as his decoy.
That seems overly complicated. Like those guys who overthink asking girls out.
Well, he couldn't have used another researcher, someone would have noticed their absence. He needed visitors, people from outside to pull it off.
So if I didn't know about the security and had rushed into the lab...
You'd be a super sexy skeleton right now. Aw, so close!
You want that?
But the doctor's plan failed, and he actually got boom killed by the hitman. I get what he was trying to do, but what about the impossible murder?
Assuming the attack on the doctor was just an act when we saw him through the intercom, we at least know for sure the real attack hadn't happened yet.
In other words, the culprit entered the lab after that exchange. So the problem is, when did they actually enter?
Where are we?
This place is a real mystery. Then again, I suppose that checks out.
Huh? Shinigami?
Yeah! Master! This looks like an important turning point! So, is that your final answer?
I haven't said anything yet!
Master, you need to narrow down the timing for when the culprit got inside. Now then, here's our fateful fork in the road. It's life or death! We are at the crossroads of mystery and solution. This earth-shattering choice may be your last. Now, Master, which one will you choose?
When I directed Amapal to go into the doctor's lab, he already had a knife stuck in him. Which means he was murdered before Amapal entered the doctor's lab.
Your answer? Is correct! Congratulations, Master! Would you like to double down?
What are you talking about? Anyway, let's keep going.
Little by little, we're narrowing down when the culprit entered.
Yeah, but we still don't know how yet. It had to be between when we spoke to the doctor over the intercom and when Amapal entered his lab. During that time, the culprit entered the doctor's lab and murdered him.
So the most likely time would be when you went to borrow Amapal, Master. The culprit had to have entered the lab then.
But Fubuki waited at the front chamber while Desuhiko and I went to borrow Amapal. She said no one entered or left the lab. Huh? We're back on the original path.
Maybe you're supposed to try opening that door now.
I'm sure that from here on out, it's not just about when, but also how the culprit got in. Yuma, there's no need to push yourself if things get too hard.
No, I can do it. I'm going to solve it.
This is a map of the critical lab.
So we have to determine where the culprit was before the murder.
We'll have to solve them one at a time. Let's start with this mystery.
If we know where the culprit was before they got in, this route will be clear too. Do you know where, Yuma?
Here! The culprit must have been here!
It opened!
After the exchange on the intercom, given there was always a detective at the front chamber, when we went to borrow Amapal, the culprit had to have already made their way inside. But the airlock is the only location that isn't affected by the security system. There. The culprit had to be inside that decontamination device before committing the crime.
But I thought he was just hiding in there to avoid being spotted after the crime. So you think the culprit was in there before the crime too?
Yeah, the culprit was waiting for their chance. But we had no idea when we sent Amapal into the airlock.
And from there, Yuma, you guided Amapal to the doctor's lab. So the culprit entered the doctor's lab before then? How would that be possible? Only Amapal could get past security, right?
Yeah, that's the next big question.
Maybe the culprit used another Amapal unit.
No, the researcher mentioned there was only one functioning Amapal.
Which means the Amapal Yuma controlled was the only one that could get past security.
So the culprit must have taken advantage of Master's Amapal to get into the doctor's lab.
Yeah, that's the only way. But how did they use it? There's no solving the doctor's murder until we figure that out.
Well, I have an idea. Will you hear me out?
What is it?
How about giving up? I'm getting tired.
Nope, motion denied. Another fork in the road? Such a complicated mystery labyrinth.
Beyond each problem lies the truth. We're definitely getting closer to the heart of this mystery.
Huh? What do you mean, use Amapal as a shield?
Amapal is supposed to be sturdy enough to withstand an elephant stepping on it, right? The culprit may have used Amapal as a shield against the security system.
So, the culprit followed behind Amapal to avoid the toxic gas and explosions?
I get it! You're so smart!
Really? I don't think so.
Hey! Master just showed off how smart and logical he is. Master wasn't smart after all! Come on, take it from the top!
Yeah! Even if Amapel itself is fine, it wouldn't be able to protect the culprit from the toxic gas. Even though Amapel is sturdy, it couldn't withstand the high voltage shock from the panel chamber. Which means it'd be impossible to use Amapel to protect yourself.
You're only realizing this now. At this rate, you'll be a grandpa before you stop being a rookie.
Perhaps you will improve in the next life.
I'm trying my best in this life!
Oh? You used Amapel as a weapon? What does that mean?
Well, it means exactly what it sounds like. For example, what if it was already programmed to kill the doctor on sight? Or maybe there were two controllers, and the culprit was controlling it at the exact moment of the crime. If that's the case, then I was the one who brought the murder weapon right to the doctor.
But Yuma, you watched Amapal's camera footage the whole time, didn't you? You would have seen the moment Amapal murdered the doctor.
Maybe fake footage was being shown instead. It could have fooled us.
Someone could program all that? How convenient! It's like I could do anything!
What do you think of my reasoning, Vivia?
I have nothing to say about it. Besides... Yep, I knew it.
You sounded so confident, and you got it wrong! Now take responsibility and get us out of here!
That's right! Because of the way Amapel's hands are shaped, it's impossible for it to hold a knife!
One more, Master!
The doctor's corpse had 3 stab wounds, but there was only 1 knife in his body. If it had launched knives at him, there would be 3 stuck in him. Of course, even if Amapal was programmed to move a certain way or display fake footage, if the knife is the murder weapon, then it's impossible for Amapal itself to have been part of the killing.
Your life is nothing but mistakes, Master. You break my heart as your mentor.
Vivia, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just a bit drowsy.
Now?
Anyway, now we gotta do it over. Time to pick a different route, Master.
Yeah.
Do you think neither is really the right answer?
Given the process of elimination, that must be it. Amapal's hands aren't designed to hold anything, so it couldn't use the knife to murder the doctor. Which means Amapal wasn't the murder weapon. And the culprit couldn't have used it as a shield. It can't neutralize the toxic gas, and the high-voltage shock would destroy it.
So then, how did the culprit use Amapal?
I think we'll find out if we continue down this path.
Huh? That was the wrong answer? Come on, Master!
Ow!
Huh? We're...
We've been here before. It looks like we've been brought back.
But the door we opened earlier is closed again. Why's that?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Huh? Even the question is the same. Does that mean we gotta do it all over again?
Well, the logic is still sound. There's no other hiding spot for the culprit besides the airlock.
So you wanna choose the same answer and keep going?
If you do, you'll just repeat the whole process again. We'll just be brought back here if we can't figure out how did the culprit use Amapal. And I refuse to walk any more than I have to.
Hey! Don't sit down!
What should I do?
Stand up! Stand up right now!
Stop it. Leave me alone.
If you want me to leave you alone, then help my useless master out!
Fine. Just one thing, then. We're back at... Where was the culprit before the crime? Because you're stuck at... How did the culprit use Amapal? With that in mind, these two questions are connected.
Connected? Both the culprit's location and how Amapal was used?
Help him out more! More, more, more!
The culprit was hiding in the airlock, where you also left the robot, right? At that moment, only the culprit and Amapal were there. So maybe the culprit did something.
The culprit did something to Amapal?
Clues are always there, right under your nose. It's a detective's job to notice them. Did you notice anything strange back then? Any tiny detail? Try to remember.
Something strange. Hey! Now that you mention it, back then...
Oh hey, the screen lit up. So this is what Amapal sees. It's like the cockpit of a mecha.
Whoa, what was that?
Did it break already? I thought it was state of the art.
No, it's all right. It's stabilized. There was a moment when the camera stopped functioning while I was controlling Amapal. It returned to normal pretty quick, but maybe...
See? I told you it was right under your nose. You don't need any additional help from me, right?
That was a clue to help solve this mystery?
Actually, everything in this world is a key to solving mysteries. You just haven't noticed them. Perhaps there is more you're overlooking. Was there anything else unusual?
Something unusual. Something I missed.
Anything else? It's not like Amapel's camera showed the culprit.
Wait, that's it!
Huh?
Now that I think about it, wasn't that strange? The culprit must have gotten ahead of Amapel, but why didn't they ever show up on the camera? If the culprit went past Amapel to enter the doctor's lab, they would have been spotted for sure.
Now that you mention it,
But nobody showed up on camera. How did the culprit manage to pull that off? How can you move from the airlock to the doctor's lab without appearing even once on Amapel's camera?
hey, aren't you just adding another mystery?
No. All the pieces are here.
Huh?
Yuma, the mysteries you face now can be solved with a single answer.
A single answer?
Sheesh. I talk too much.
Oh, one mystery after another! What did you do now? It's a Pandora's box of mysteries!
Let's stay calm and think about it. There's plenty of time.
Or not. I'll keep reading while you wrap things up.
Remember what he said, Master. All it takes is one answer to solve these mysteries. Use those weak brain cells of yours and think!
Culprit's location. Amapel's usage. Its malfunction. Why didn't the culprit appear on camera? All this can be solved with just one answer? Got it! The culprit rode on Amapel's head, using it as a method of transportation.
The door opened!
With every open door, it will be harder for you to turn back. Are you sure you want to keep going?
Absolutely. I will find the truth no matter what. This is for the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
Hey, you said the culprit rode on top of Amapel. What did you mean by that?
Literally what I said. The culprit rode Amapel and used it to get through. After we left Amapel in the airlock, the culprit came out of the decontamination device. Then they jumped on Amapel's head. The disruption in the footage was from the impact.
That's insane.
Is it? I think it's fairly reasonable. Amapel can withstand up to 100 kilograms of weight. so someone riding on it shouldn't affect its functionality.
The shoe print on Amapel's head wasn't caused by someone kicking it. It was left there from the culprit hopping on and off.
After that, the culprit simply rode on it as it moved toward the doctor's lab. By doing so, the culprit was able to evade the camera and remain hidden as they made their way through the lab.
You're right. If it's true, then it does solve all of the previous mysteries. Imagining the culprit riding on a robot makes me laugh.
But Yuma, have you not realized it? You're still missing something. One major mystery remains.
What's with that huge sigh?
The greatest mystery of this case should appear soon. Just the thought of it gets me feeling down.
This case's greatest mystery? This is the panel chamber.
That means the doctor's lab is just beyond it. If we can get through here, we'll reach the goal, yeah? Is this the greatest mystery you mentioned?
Not exactly what I was envisioning.
Well, this is the mystery to be solved, so let's clear it out.